This video, I'm going to show you exactly how Daniel Bitton makes over 100K per month in profit from his online info coaching business, and exactly how you, as either an online coach or creator yourself, can copy these systems into your business to generate the same results. And I'm going to break these down in a very simple 3-step process that first starts off with generating traffic, then nurturing that traffic, then converting that traffic into buyers. Now, I actually used to be part of his team. I used to be a sales rep, so I saw his entire back end fully. And so let's dive on right into it. So basically, if you look at what he's running right now, he's mostly running organic traffic. He definitely used to run ads. He definitely was, but right now he isn't. But we'll get into that in a second. So let's have a look at the organic right now. So he has 3 platforms: Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Now with his Instagram, he has 220,000 followers, a very good amount. This immediately establishes him as an authoritative figure, and obviously not only just helps in pushing his content out to a majority of his audience. So when you first come to his Instagram page, you're greeted by these pinned posts, and they're really effective because they just show off his crazy lifestyle. Immediately you're seeing the fact that he's 17 and he bought a G-Wagon at that young age, $200,000 car, and the crazy lifestyle, the travels, the private jets, everything like that. This really puts him on a pedestal immediately when you greet him, and puts him in an authoritative position, which you need in order for someone to buy from. You have to be valued as someone in a better position that you want to get to in order to buy from. So this is really effective that you're greeted by this as soon as you come to his Instagram page. Then if we actually have a look at the type of reels he's posting, it's a bit of a mix. So most of it is lifestyle-based content or clips from like podcasts or like viral moments like that. But he does occasionally post some value-based videos where he'll kind of break down a type of YouTube short video in a certain niche that he made and how it generated a couple million views. So he is posting some value videos, but a lot of it is just lifestyle-based content. As you can see here, montage clips of him when he was younger, podcast clips of him saying he made 500K a month at 16, 17. And he also is posting, like, he's not really posting the raw type of content, which we have seen a lot of creators being using quite effectively. But that's not to say that, every creator has to use the raw format. It does help on certain platforms, especially with YouTube. But on Instagram, it does also work perfectly fine to still have some decently and well scripted and edited videos. Like some of these videos are creative angles. They're quite unique. He really knows how to kind of capture your attention quite effectively, as you would expect as someone that's in the kind of YouTube short space. So he kind of knows what he's doing here, and he gets good attention. As you can see, the reviews reflect that type of work. So really effective here. And obviously the point of all of this is just to generate views and attention to his name, to his brand. And because the main reason why is because if anyone wants to buy from us, they need to have 3 things acquired. They need to first just know us. Like, they can't buy anything from us. They don't even know who we are, who our name, what we do. Then they need to like us. They actually need to see that we're a genuine person. We're not just some crazy guru that's going to scam them. We're likable, we're friendly, that kind of thing. But then we also need people to trust us, because if anyone wants to buy from us, they need to trust what you sell, what your advice is, so much that they will give you money for it. So it's really effective that you have all 3. And what's crucial is, obviously having each step of knowing them, liking them, and then trusting them. The reels here really are effective at getting people to know him, and with elements of liking him as well. So that's what his reels are doing. Then if we have a look at his highlights, I think this is something he could definitely improve, because I literally looked at his whole highlights. There's just one highlight section called wins, and there was only 1 testimonial on here. So it was a good testimonial, but he needs a ton more on here. Like, if you look at every other creator in the space that's selling info, doing multiple 6 and even 7 figures a month, they have just like an infinite amount of results. Like, you spam through them stories, and you just you can't get to the end of them pretty much. So he really needs that, because it's so important that you have student testimonials, because if people see 1 testimonial, it's only one type of person, and it's really important to have a variation of different types of testimonials, of depending on who you're targeting as your audience. But there's always going to be, if you can have someone, a member of your audience, that relates to that testimonial, if they're just like them, then that's going to really make them want to convert and buy into your program. So it's really effective to have multiple testimonials, not just 1, 2, 3, or 4. You need lots and as many as possible to show that your stuff actually works and your product is good. So he definitely could improve on with that. Now, he does use his stories as well. He does post some sequences. I wasn't able to get a specific sequence here. This was only a kind of CTA to his webinar, but we can still break down how it looked. So he's pretty much just showing a ton of results, a ton of results from himself and from his audience with it, sign up CTA in every single one of these. Students going crazy, second channel doing $600 a day, $30,000 in a month. So showing off one of his students. So he could immediately slap that on his wins page. Like, I don't know why he doesn't have a ton more of them, but he should definitely put them on there. And then, as you can see, just showing off a ton of results. And at the end here, he kind of calls out their icy kind of like pain points or potential objections people might have, because you don't need to edit for 10 hours a day. You don't need to show your face, and it doesn't take 30-minute videos. It's 10 to 50 seconds, and it doesn't take any time away from work. So he's really pulling out the pain points, or sorry, the potential objections people might have, for them to not have an objection to not show up to that webinar. So yeah, pretty much he's then CTAing. As you can see, he's flexing his, I don't even know what the watch is. I can't read it. Sorry. But yeah, he's basically flexing his watch here. Is that Frederic Constantine? Yeah. So he's flexing the watch, just, casual background to have. And then obviously a CTA at the end here to register for that webinar. We will break that webinar down in just a second. But generally speaking, with stories, you kind of want to start off with a hook, just kind of capture people's attention so they stay to watch the following stories. Then provide some sort of proof or some value before that. And then with the proof, obviously he's doing that very effectively here, showing results, showing his own results, and then a CTA at the end. So pretty kind of standard stuff here. However, you do have to be careful with this because every time you do this to your audience, you're going to build sales resistance because people kind of know that they're going to be getting sold to here, depending on how harsh of a CTA it is. If you're directing people to your DMs for a one-on-one coaching mentorship, or if it's like a free value lead magnet or something like that. But you have to be careful to do these really subtly because, like I said, it will build resistance. You don't want your whole audience thinking you're just some sellout, selling them a course every like 10 seconds. I do see a lot of creators doing this, spamming these story sequences, DM me the keyword mentor and I'll mentor you. Like, just stop. You got to stop doing that. You got to provide as much value as possible in the stories and intertwine them like in very subtly some CTAs here and there because that's how they're most effective. If you can get your audience to treat your stories like they're a personal private Snapchat story, which I think is something creators don't capitalize on enough. Like you post so much raw content on there, your day in the lives or whatever, just small like kind of sequences where you don't even CTA, like a story sequence of you about your whole day, no CTA. I think that'll be really, really effective to not build a lot of sales resistance. So yeah, that's pretty much his stories and his whole Instagram in its entirety. But also he does occasionally do CTAs within his content as well. So he'll basically, if he's running a webinar, he'll obviously CTA to the sign up for that. So on the videos that are near that date and time, he'll obviously CTA the link in his bio. But also he'll occasionally have CTAs directly to his DMs because he'll have a DM setter that will message these people and book them in for a sales call. And pretty much he'll just say, DM me the word shorts to learn exactly how he was able to make 1 million views with this certain short or generate 30K in a month with a YouTube Shorts page. And pretty much the process that a DM setter would follow is, they would receive that initial inbound message or they would, see that Shorts CTA, and then initially try and build some rapport and qualify by their location. So like talking about where they're based, if they're from a third world country or if they're not. If they aren't, then they'll go ahead and continue talking to them. Then figuring out what their current state is, so where they're at with YouTube Shorts or if they're trying to get into it, some kind of internal motivations behind why they want to get into the business model. Then finding their goal, if they want to get to 10, 15, 20, 30K a month. And then from there, building the pain and gap that's stopping them from getting to that point. And then using commitment and urgency to build commitment and like a reason for why they should take action now into getting help. And we want to do this in a way such that they ask us for help. We're not pitching them the call. They are asking us to get help. So that's the reason why commitment and urgency is so effective in DMs. And yeah, from there you pitch a call, book the call, and send some post-booking assets. I actually went ahead and made a video breaking down how an appointment setting process had made $1.2 million that I had helped generate with the specific appointment setting process from DMs to SDRs and the whole pre-call process, managing reps and that whole thing. Because I used to be a setter myself and I used to manage setters as well. So definitely have a watch of that if you're interested in how to improve your setting process. Now, if we have a look, again, that was his whole Instagram. So now let's have a look at his TikTok. So again, massive following, 190K, really solid. And he pretty much, if you come to his pin post, again, he's showing off that insane authority he has. These are pretty much all viral clips of him showing off his software company and how he's able to make multiple 6 figures a month at 16, 17 years old. It's really insane. You can see, look at the views here, 5 mil, 2.7 mil. This is just crazy numbers that are going to really boost his name out to the world and get people to figure out who he actually is. And that's of course exactly what you want, is to generate attention to your page. So that's pretty much what he's doing with the pin post there. Then if we actually look at the type of content he's posting on TikTok, it's pretty similar to his Instagram. So it's a mix of the same content with montages of podcasts, clips from his long form content, and also of his younger self. But he's quite consistent with these. He's posting twice per day. And as you can see, some of these will hit decently and some of them won't do as well. But it's all about a consistency game. So if you're posting, not that often, then you're obviously going to hurt your chances of going viral. So it's really important to be consistent. And yeah, pretty much that's quite effective in basically getting people to know who he is, like I was mentioning before. So that's what the Instagram and TikTok is for, to really to get people to know who he is. But then eventually people will be directed to his YouTube channel because that's where a lot of the value is. This is where people will be really converted into actually buying his products because they can trust him now. They can trust that what he says works and that if they were to pay him for more exclusive information, it will work for them themselves. So he has 2 channels, and I think his YouTube strategy it's a bit kind of unclear at the moment because he has 2 channels, Daniel Bitton Extra and his main channel. His main channel has, I think, about 100,000 to 200,000 subscribers. And he pretty much posts a mix of types of content. When we first take a look at his extra channel, because I think he's making this his new focus, because you can see he's been consistently uploading on this. He's posting a mix of content. So he's posting value-based content, of course, like you would need. You know, how to get 100K subscribers on YouTube fast, exposing how much money YouTube Shorts made me. I got 100K subscribers in 7 days, you know, really showing his business model and how he's so good at it. But he's also posting a lot of top of funnel content. So that lifestyle content, buying a 250K G-Wagon at 17, 7 days in a $30 million mansion, spending 200K in a month at 17, you know, massive, like super like crazy titles. As you can see, the views are reflecting on that. And again, this is going to generate attention, and this is going to get people to like him through the lifestyle content he's posting, his vlogs, that kind of thing. And then people watch these videos and they'll be converted into buying. So it's really important that you have a mix of top of funnel, middle funnel, and bottom of funnel. Top of funnel being that lifestyle kind of content, reaching that really wide audience. The middle of the funnel being that nurturing type of content that kind of educates people about yourself and that kind of thing. And then bottom of the funnel being more closer to the end of the sales process. So testimonials, like free training videos, like VSL kind of type of videos. And yeah, I do think he should improve the clarity of the difference between these channels, because on his other channel, it's kind of like a mix of some lifestyle and some value. So I don't really get the difference. What I think would be, you know, better for him, as you can see, needs some clarification, is if he had one channel with value, one channel with lifestyle. And we've seen a lot of the bigger guys like, you know, TGR, Iman Gadzhi, they all do this, and like Breast Scales, they have a main channel with their lifestyle, what made them go viral in the first place, and then they make a second channel specifically about business content or specifically about whatever they do. And it's not entirely crucial to have two separate channels, but it's just when you kind of have this ambiguity, like this kind of mix of here, it's not really clear what the difference is between the channels. So I think he could definitely improve that. And then another thing as well is he does include some kind of authentic type of content here, you know, breaking down how he's able to make $30 million of SaaS business and the kind of the journey through that. So I think that's quite effective type of content. But I think he could definitely add some bottom of the funnel content regarding testimonials, because I don't see him really flexing testimonials, and you really should be doing that, showing as much proof as possible of your product. So I think he should add some like in-person interviews, client interviews, and that kind of thing. Then to add to that as well, he does appear on a podcast, and this has been really, really effective for him, like without a doubt. Like, as you can see this, he was on Brett Malinowski's podcast, and he, you know, 457K views. That's generating a ton of traffic to his name, especially when it says, you know, $30 million at 17, you know, that's going to be like so captivating to people. Like, how the hell has he made so much money at such a young age? So it's really, really powerful to jump on other people's platforms to leverage their audience to then direct that traffic to yourself. So it's really, really effective to do that. And so yeah, that's pretty much his entire YouTube strategy and his entire organic strategy as well. So it's quite effective. And the question of running ads. So he was running ads before. He definitely was. He was running ads to his webinars and also to his low ticket ascension funnel, which we will break down in a second. But he's kind of had a mix of like changing up of the funnels and stuff like that. But I definitely think he should get back to running ads as soon as possible, especially with the low ticket ascension funnel, because that's how you can really scale those types of funnels to, you know, the multiple 6 figures and even 7 figures a month. There's really big people that are doing that with running ads at the front end. So I'll break up this whole down in just a second right now. So pretty much everyone is being directed to this low ticket ascension funnel page, apart from when he's running a webinar. So we'll break it down first. And this is pretty much the front end. And it's pretty much a low ticket product. And what I mean by low ticket is it's no more than about, you know, $200, you know, let's say like $100 pretty much. You know, it's between 20 to $100. And pretty much the way that this will work, I'll break down in a second, but if we have a look at the landing page, you know, he's immediately targeting a very broad ICP. You know, you can work only an hour a day using just an iPhone and make $700 a day. Very simple headline, but very, very effective. And as you scroll through this, he shows off his own results and how this product, this frames, YouTube frames will get you to be minting new millionaires. He breaks down a bit of a personal story here. Pay attention to the copy here because it's quite effective. You know, he calls out his ICP's pain points. The fact that they don't need to watch endless tutorials, spend hours editing, guess random what topics might work, because this product solves all of those. So really effective copy down here. So you'll read through this whole thing. You have examples of what he's talking about, and the CTA button consistently throughout. So as people scroll through that page, then there's always a moment where they can go ahead and click, and they don't have to scroll. And you know, there's potentially a chance where they kick off the page because they can't find somewhere to opt in. Then he again calls out, handles common objections. Don't need to show your face. Don't need voiceovers. Don't need to learn editing. It's all done by AI. And then again, calling that ICP, you can quit your 9 to 5 with this, retire your parents, buy their dream homes, that kind of thing. And then even more details about the actual product itself. It's AI, it's a proven viral hooks, pre-matched AI voices, viral tested, non-copyright music tracks. So everything kind of done for you pretty much in one like space. It's really, really like effective breakdown here. And to add to that as well, the kind of cherry on the cake is the fact that there's a personal 365-day viral guarantee. So it's like if you don't go viral with the software or with the product he's about to sell to you, he'll give you your money back in a year. So a pretty effective guarantee. Because it's like, I mean, a year is quite a long time to be fair, but it's least some kind of confidence that this will definitely work for you within that time frame. So yeah, pretty much from there, you can then put in your payment details. It collects your name, your email, and your phone number. All of this will be used at a later date to maybe contact you for an upsell. But that's not the main part of the upsell. So pretty much you put your details in, you then receive in your emails the product, and you can then use it as you wish. But then immediately after you've paid, you're then redirected to this VSL page. And this is where the upsell starts to happen. So pretty much the way that it works is it's basically like a ladder. So someone will buy your low ticket product. Let's say in this case, it was $50, right? You get good value from that and you're still stuck. You still have pain points that you need help with. And then from there, what you should, in this type of funnel, you would then want to offer something at maybe $200, $300, $400, $500, right? And then they've now ascended that ladder to a $500 offer. They've gotten some value, but there's still something they could gain even more from. And what's really key is to have a discrepancy, a big difference in value between those offers, because you can really get someone going from $20 on the front end to eventually paying you $5,000 if they've received enough value and there's a good enough discrepancy and pain points still remaining in the lead to want to get that extra help. So pretty much this is like a one-time offer that he offers in this VSL, and he makes you watch the VSLs. Really tactical as well, because pretty much there's a timer here and it lasts 2 minutes, so you can't do anything. You have to watch the video, and then after 2 minutes, pretty much 2 minutes is when he basically starts to pitch the upsell, is when you can then go ahead and buy the next product. And it obviously includes a bunch more add-ons, a bunch more things that will help you with your YouTube Shorts journey. And the most important thing, which adds to the further layer of the upsell, is that you get a one-on-one strategy call. So basically, after you paid that $50, you're then taken to that VSL, like I said, and then you're showing this new offer that's now $200. It's normally $997, so this is why it's kind of like a one-time offer, because other parts of his funnel it's more expensive. Just kind of effective, builds a bit of urgency to kind of want to take action now. Because obviously people won't, not everyone after watching this video will buy it, because they'll buy it maybe through emails that he'll send to you or through a Discord group that you get access to once you join his offer. But this is really effective at taking action now, the one-time offer. So pretty much it's $200, you get a bunch of value add-ons, but most importantly, you get a one-on-one strategy call. Now with the success coach. Now this is pretty much guised as an upsell call with a sales rep. And what this will do is they'll buy the products, get all the add-ons, and the one-on-one call. And on that one-on-one call, they will then go through a sales process with the rep that will try and upsell them to a higher ticket product. So depending on, it'll be 2 to 5K, depending on what they can afford, because Daniel Bitton did have multiple offers at, I think, 1K, 3K, and 5K, depending on what level of one-on-one support and group coaching you would get. But pretty much the whole point is you go from paying $50 to $200 to then $5,000. All through this kind of ascension funnel, you're kind of climbing that ladder. And the reason why this works is because a paying prospect in motion will stay in motion. As long as what you're giving to them is valuable, and if ascending to the next stage is easy and there's not a frictionful process and there's a big discrepancy in the difference between what they have now versus what they will get, then they're going to pay for it. Because if they've already overcome an initial barrier of paying you, there's some level of trust that they've gone through to want to give you money. And if they think you can if they think you can give them even more value, then they'll be more than willing to, if they can obviously afford it financially, to climb that ladder and eventually get to that 5K offer or however high ticket that you're pricing it. So it's a really, really effective funnel. So pretty much what that would look like with that one-on-one strategy call is you kind of book in through here. And these questions kind of qualify you by location. I think you could really optimize this. I know this is kind of deeper down the funnel, but I think this is probably going to push off a bunch of people because it's quite a harsh type of questioning. Where are you based is pretty casual, to be fair, but this will basically DQ all the third worlders, Indian, wherever, that kind of stuff that doesn't have, as high of an income. Then from there, what do you do for a living? And then what's your current monthly income? They use all this information to dictate if you can afford a 3, 4, 5K offer. And I do think these questions are quite harsh and direct. A lot of other people tend to ask maybe one of these questions, like, what's your current monthly income, as opposed to what do you do for a living? That's quite a personal question. So I think he should definitely, especially if he's running ads on the front end, this would probably not be that effective. So he should definitely have this later down the line, or have a longer question, maybe like 5 questions, and not have as many like harsh questions like this. But pretty much after that, you're then able to go ahead and book in a call with a Calendly page here. And as you can see, they double check the financial qualifier again. And obviously, as you know, they can lie on these forms, but they will have a triage, which I'll break down in a second, on how they can pretty much overcome this process and find out how much money the lead actually has. And lastly as well, I noticed he didn't have a post-booking video. So pretty much I went and booked in a call, and they didn't have a post-booking page where after you booked in a call, the creator will then tell you, cool, congrats on booking in, man. Watch out for these emails. Watch out for this member of my team that will reach out to you, that kind of thing. I think it's really effective to have that so the lead knows what's going to happen before they jump onto that call. So definitely something he could add for sure. So yeah, that's pretty much the low ticket ascension funnel. Now let's take a look at the webinar that he runs. So he runs these occasionally, and it's really effective. We're seeing this becoming very popular right now, but people are running, either a low ticket ascension funnel or a VSL funnel alongside an occasional webinar funnel, be it week, 2 weeks, every quarter, depending on what type of audience you have and what type of offer you're selling. But it's really effective to pair these with webinars, because webinars are so powerful, like pushing a bunch of people onto that live call, into one corner, and then just selling them. And then it's really effective. So let's break it down. So pretty much, look at this headline: discover how hundreds of 9-to-5ers are supplementing or even replacing their income with AI-generated YouTube Shorts. So as you can see, he's addressing a very wide TAM. And when I say TAM, I mean your total addressable market. And this is pretty much who you can target, who can benefit from your offer. And the wider that you have this, potentially the more money you can make, right? Because you're reaching, as opposed to reaching 100 people, you can reach 100,000 people. Now, it's not to say that you have to have a wide TAM. You can still have a smaller total addressable market of, really wealthy individuals and still make a lot of money. But if you really want to go to the mass markets, you're running ads, going wide, 9-to-5ers, that kind of thing is a really effective thing to do. Then also notice that he's capitalizing on the whole AI trend right now with AI-generated YouTube Shorts. So kind of making a unique selling point to his offer, not just saying YouTube Shorts, but AI-generated Shorts. This is immediately just going to kind of pull people in, because there's a whole craze around AI right now. Literally, you can slap AI on anything and it's going to increase your conversions without a doubt. So yeah, pretty much just a normal kind of webinar landing page. There's a big button in the here to CTA. There's some urgency with a loading bar of people joining. Then he goes into depth about selling the business model, why it's the best thing, 3 reasons why. Really effective from there, educating people that might not know the in-depths about his kind of business model. Then he explains what the webinar will be about, so what they're going to gain from it, what value they'll get, the best niches to kind of go into, monetization secrets, and also a live Q&A with Bitton as well. So really effective there. And then tons of results. I think he should still add a lot more. I think this is something I've noticed consistently in his funnel, is he needs a ton more results. He definitely has some. He just needs to show them off more. It's so important to do that. So yeah, pretty much that's the kind of page there. Pretty basic, but quite effective. And then from there, you're taken to the registration page. Now, this is where they capture your name, email, and phone number. And the reason why they have this is because obviously they need your email to send you the link to the webinar. And then with the email, they'll also send you, a bunch of emails, like a sequence of emails that will increase the show up rate and kind of ping you and I'll break those down in a second as well. But also they capture your phone number so they can send you SMS reminders, but also so that once the webinar has concluded, their sales team can then dial these kind of list of leads up that have joined the webinar that might not have showed up or have showed up but didn't purchase the offer that he sells, and try and book them in for a call again. So it's really effective to capture these details so that you don't have any leaks in the funnel. So people are coming to this page and you're tracking where they've been so you can contact them at a later date. So really effective from there. Then pretty much you're taken to this standard page here where he pretty much just breaks down what to do, what to follow for, why you should kind of show up to the webinar, kind of builds a bit of excitement for it. Tells you to check your emails and kind of breaks down how the webinar will work, what's it going to go down to in YouTube Shorts and that kind of thing. So quite effective from there. This kind of gives a nice kind of introduction to what to expect. So really effective there as well. Then shows off more results. But I definitely think he should show some video testimonials, because it's really effective having static testimonials, but video testimonials are so much more highly converting because it's a real human talking. And it seems much more legitimate than just a screenshot, because you can argue that a screenshot can be faked, whereas same with a video, to be honest, but it's a lot more natural. It seems more genuine if it's a person actually talking than just some text on the screen. That's pretty much how the webinar works. Then as soon as you've opted in, you'll receive some emails, depending on when you've opted in. Typically speaking, there'll be a sequence every day up until the event. So usually they'll be promoted within 1 to 2 weeks beforehand, and you'll receive some daily emails. But on the day as well, I thought this was effective. He sent me 5 emails. And this is really effective, because Jeremy Haynes, someone big in the info space, calls this the hammer them strategy, and you pretty much just spam people. Say spam, but hit them up with a bunch of emails. And I think he could definitely improve some of the emails he was giving in here, because some of them were quite blunt and just saying, here's the link, here's the link, here's the link. He could pack them full of value in every single video and almost doctrinate people before they show up to that course. They've consumed so much value from Daniel, seen his testimonials, seen the value he can provide. So when they show up to that webinar, they're super warm, super hot. So the minute he pitches, they're going to be down to buy. So I think he could really improve the content of his emails. And then pretty much the webinar is pretty standard. I broke a couple of these down now. So pretty much it starts off with setting the frame of the webinar. I'm going to show you the real way to generate income online, how you can start literally tomorrow. then calls out common objections, makes sure that people don't want to click off because they think they need an LLC, they need to spend money on ads, they need complex skills, they don't need any of that, which gives them a reason to stay because it's like, oh, I can actually do this. Then again, he adds in another incentive to stay by building a bit of curiosity or a bit of like kind of element of surprise that he has an offer that will blow their mind, and it's a chance to work with him and his team if you want to get 10 times faster to that destination of reaching that 10, 20K a month. So effective kind of reason to stay for that end of the webinar. Then he interacts with the chat. Occasionally he'll have like a keyword, and this is effective to do on webinars to kind of engage with the audience, check to see how warm they are, and to see that it's not pre-recorded as well, because a lot of people think that if it's pre-recorded, they think that you're kind of scamming them, that kind of stuff. Not scamming them, but like it's not as genuine if it feels like you're actually there. There's a real connection between the viewer on the other side of the screen and the creator. So interacting with the chat is a really effective thing to do. Then he just goes down into breaking down his story. So how he started at 11 years old, making his first YouTube channel, and how he's built multiple channels that generate over 25K a month, completely on autopilot, and how he scaled his AI software company to 500K a month in just 60 days. So really building his authority, showing the arc that he went through from going from a total beginner to having 6-figure a month a business. So really effective at building that authority that people want to see, to trust him. Then he has some other tactical things in his webinar where he almost creates a us first them picture to the audience of the traditional method of going around YouTube Shorts versus his YouTube portal method using AI. And then he goes into actually showcasing his AI product, which I thought was quite effective as well, because he's not just selling an info product, he's selling the info product together with an AI software. So this is what we're seeing is really going to be a big trend in the coming new info products that people are selling, is you're tying it with an AI product as well. So it's really effective. And pretty much he live demonstrated it, which I thought was really, really effective. Going through the whole software in its entirety, not just screenshots, but real live playing of it. Then intermittently, he's showing off results that he's generated with the software, giving him even more authority. And then he actually goes ahead and breaks down his specific offer that he can give to help you use the software and get help from him to scale to that 10K a month. And then he shows off tons of student results, like Melissa buying like a PS16 Pro and S25 Ultra for his mom and that kind of stuff. Really effective. I do think he could improve the testimonials again. I think he could add maybe like a voice note testimonial or a video testimonial that he plays, or even get a student on the webinar itself. Saw Cardinal Mason do that, which I thought was quite cool to really improve that conversion. And then pretty much after he's gone through the whole offer, he then pitches the price, and he goes ahead and breaks down what it normally costs, and basically kind of overinflates the value. So he kind of anchors the price at 14,000, so it's worth 14,000. But instead today, it's only going to be 995. And he offers a split payment option as well for people that don't want to pay it up in front, which is very effective because not everyone will be fully qualified to buy there and then on the call. And he drops the link in the chat where you can either have the split pay option or the pay in full. And pretty much the standard kind of pitching for a webinar, like you can either pitch a book a call, or you kind of sell a mid-ticket offer, or like a 500 or a 1K offer. Pretty much is pretty standard stuff here. Builds a bit of urgency after pitching, saying there's only 50 spots available for the new beta members for this new software, which obviously is going to build a bit of urgency. And then what I thought was really effective as well is he broke down how the split payment option can work with WAP and Split It. Now this is a new thing that came out recently, and this basically means that you can have leads that can buy your product for pretty much nothing up front. Obviously, we'll pay it over a duration of time, but you as the merchant, you as the creator can get the paid in full amount. And it also means that, so you get paid, the consumer gets the product and they don't even pay anything up front, and they later pay off that price over a couple of months or however long they're paying for it. So really effective at generating extra cash on top of that. Then on top of that as well, he has a really confident guarantee. So he says, if you don't get any results with this within I think it was a year, he'll refund you and then 2 extra investments. So he'll send you money. So in this case, $2,000 if you don't get results with his product. So again, a really effective way of showing confidence in his offer and building a reason for people to take action, because this will work and there's no reason why they wouldn't work if they have this level of a guarantee. So yeah, that's pretty much what his funnel is. And then again, what he will be doing, because he's pitching a 997 offer, all of those 997 offers will include a one-on-one support call. And again, that one-on-one support call is just an upsell call to the high ticket offer. So people, and these are really, really effective at upselling people, because if they've been willing to spend 1K, they're probably going to want to spend 3, maybe 5K potentially, if there's enough value add to the offer. So again, really, really effective to kind of have this type of offer with the upsells all on the back end. So really, really effective there. So pretty much after you when you book that call in, so that's pretty much the whole webinar sequence. And like I said, you can book a call after you put that 997 offer or through the low ticket extension funnel. And once you've gone and booked in that call, there's a couple of things that are in place to make sure you show up. Now, this is a big process that I saw as being a sales rep in the team. And this is really what's really crucial to allowing to make sure that every lead shows up. You can make the most amount of money from every lead. And it first starts off with obviously receiving a notification and making sure that a triager or an SDR will call these guys up as soon as they booked in, ideally within 5 to 10 minutes. Speed to lead is incredibly important because if you leave it for any longer, then you're increasing the chance and likelihood that they won't pick up that phone, and that could potentially mean they don't show up to the call and you miss out on money. So it's really important that you do that. Then this SDR will run pretty much a triage call, and they basically call them up, run them through a basic discovery process and put a bit of pain, and most importantly, financially qualify these prospects to make sure that they are qualified and can actually afford the program you're selling, because people obviously can lie on those forms, so we have a manual verification of checking how much money they have. I actually went ahead and made a full video breaking down the pre-call process that helped generate 116K in a single month for a creator. This fully really works really well. And I just think it's so important to have a triager in place because they're almost like a gatekeeper to your closers. Like, you want to make sure your closers have the best leads possible, and the triager will basically increase the show up rate, the close rate, because they'll be super warm, and obviously they're financially qualified as well. So really effective to have that. Then once they've made the contact with the lead and had the conversation, they'll make a group chat with them, be it on Instagram, WhatsApp, and pretty much just send them details regarding like what they need to have in order to like make use of the call. So they'll send over like a VSL or even like a podcast video that was really effective with the closer and Daniel himself, and it builds authority with the closer, builds trust with them, because they might be thinking, why am I not jumping on the call with Daniel Bitton? Who is this guy? And that video that they watched before the call is really effective at setting the frame of the closer. It's like a podcast video. So really effective there indeed. And obviously the GC was like another touch point with the lead, so that will increase the show up rate as well. And then pretty much you just receive a bunch of SMS and email reminders thereafter. And then manually the setter will paste the link in the group chat for the call so that they don't have any way of missing it. And then from there, the call's now live. They can either close. If they're closed, you collect the cash, happy days, win-win. Now, if they don't show up, then the setter will dial that lead up 7 days in a row to try and recoup them back into jumping onto that sales call. And if they obviously no close, then they'll continue to get nurtured in the sales process and potentially be contacted by the sales rep at a later date. And pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much the whole process that he's using regarding like the sales process in terms of after people have booked in a call. Now, what's really important as well is that you track all the data, and he's definitely going to be having this with his sales reps, is they track everything, like the date, the name, the type of close it was, the cash collected, the revenue generated, and any notes. And what is really important is with all of this information, you can track to see what bottlenecks are in the business, because it's really crucial that you make data-driven decisions when running any business, because they'll give you the real truth, the real key bottlenecks that you need to overcome and point towards what they actually are. And we actually implement this with creators that we work with. We track pretty much everything, the average sets per day, the total lead to booking rate, like everything from the DM setters, the closers, to the dialers, all the statistics. So we want to know, what is the issue? Is it an issue with the rep himself? Because we can check by the individual name what kind of KPIs they're heading. Is it an issue with the pre-call process? Is it a speed to lead issue? Or is it even a marketing issue? Because what we can find out is if on these notes here, if a lot of these leads don't really have the trust in the creator, then it could be an issue with the content. So we can tweak that depending on what we get the feedback. So it's really important to have a feedback loop within your whole sales team. Have a really clear communication and tracking all the numbers to make logical, rational decisions on what you need to do to improve and scale the business. So it's really effective to have these in place. And so yeah, that's pretty much everything that Daniel Bitton has in place that allows him to do 100K a month. He has fluctuated in between that and I think about 3 to 400K a month with his info product. But yeah, so pretty much that's exactly how everything works. Now, if you're a creator or coach yourself that wants some of these systems implemented into your own business, then just go ahead and book a call down below. I'll be more than happy to show you exactly how these worked, as I used to be a sales rep on the team, and I can show you how these can be implemented in your own business to generate similar results. So yeah, pretty much that's everything from me. Take care and peace.